Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Social Register Network's Biz Connect Member Spotlight, where you get to know our members and connect with them and find a resource for you. And of course, build this community and connect with a member online and also offline. So today I have Sabrina Reed, who is also known as the Insurance Geek, that you're going to learn more about, learn how she got into her entrepreneurial journey, learn how you can get connected with her, and also learn any more resources that you need because I know I got the questions about insurance and I know you do too. Don't lie. We have questions about auto insurance. We got questions about all these notices we just received. We got questions about rental insurance, homeowner insurance. And so that's what I love about Sabrina because she's always there to support me when I have a question. I'm like, hey, I need insurance for this event. What the heck do I do? And I have Sabrina and her team who takes care of me. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Sabrina and you guys will get to know her as well. All right. Welcome, Sabrina. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Well, better, thank you.
Yes. Sabrina and I were having an off camera conversation. She just got back from a cruise, but unfortunately was sick during the cruise. So thank God she is well today, kind of doing a little bit better. So I'm excited to have you here today and really share more about yourself because I have the honor and privilege to know you as a friend, but also as a client. And I want everyone else to know about you, like this badass insurance geek. And I just love your humor, your funness, and your knowledge. Like, I literally go to you about everything. So, how did you get, because you are known as the insurance geek and you offer insurance through American Family, so you have your own agency, but how did tell people more about how you got into the industry?
It was actually just like a fluke. I had been working in an arcade. I was 20 years old, single mom, worked in an arcade, and then I just got the opportunity to work in a file room for an auto insurance agency. And from there, it just blossomed into this whole like career. I didn't think that, if you had asked me anytime, do you think that you're going to be an insurance agent? I would have been like, no, insurance people are creepy and they're taking everybody's money. Or I didn't even know what insurance was at the time.
Mhm.
But my grandpa was a life insurance salesman like his whole life. I mean, he was selling life insurance to the guy in the hospital bed next to him. And
Oh,
so I always thought of that as like weird. But he was super excited when I got in the insurance industry.
oh, that's
And
exciting. It's kind of
yeah,
in the family a little bit.
uh, right. But I didn't sell life insurance until last 2022. 22. So I'd always been in the property and casualty space, like your homeowners, your auto, and commercial business. So I'd always been there, and now I'm in the life insurance business as well. Protecting people, it matters. So I'm glad to have rounded that out for myself. So now I can really provide a lot more for my customers, my friends, my family.
So I know that you got into the insurance working for someone else, but what, came to, what made you want to become your own entrepreneur, like open your own?
Well, again, I never thought that I would be a business owner. I nobody in my family had been a business owner. My daughter was a business owner. She's a dog trainer. So she really like felt, when I said I had a falling out and I said I didn't feel appreciated, and I was like, I think it's time for me to move on and maybe open my own agency. And she was like, yes, let's do it.
Uh-huh.
So she helped me like get my stuff in a row, all my ducks out, and she really was behind the scenes like cheering for me. And of course she would be, I couldn't do any of this without her. She's my right hand. She's my assistant. She does everything that happens in the office. So I'm really glad that I had her to lean on as well. it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. I went
Mhm.
from a very, very stable position financially, and I just, it's really scary leaving that comfort and then for the unknown. And it all just, the universe just spoke. I was like, okay, maybe about 6 months to a year and a half, maybe we'll look into this. And then it just all happened. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, I think I talked to her about this like on April 29th,
Mhm.
and I was life licensed and appointed through American Family on July 13th.
Wow.
So that much, that small time frame of me making the decision and then just the universe being like, boop, boop, here you go, here you go, here you go. And it just happened. And I ran with it, and I'm so glad that I did. It's hard. It's hard, but it's very, very rewarding. Just being my own boss, running my business the way I want to run it.
Mhm.
I don't want my customers to feel like they're just a number to me, or they're just a commission statement or whatever. I really
Yeah.
want my customers to build that relationship with me and to trust in me and to be the go-to when they have questions, even if I'm not the insurance agent that does that for you. I want to be able to provide the resources and the knowledge, because it's really confusing. Insurance is confusing.
Yeah, and that's
So
one thing I love about you is one of the things that you say is, you know, even if I don't become your agent, if you even if you don't get insurance through us, I want everyone to be educated on what's the best approach for them, what is best for them. And I love that about you because you don't hear that often. And what you said in the beginning about like people who sell insurance, they're just out there to get your money or whatnot. But at the back of our in the back of our mind, we know we need it. It's required in regards to in case something happens, but also to protect us. And that's what I love about you is that it's not about, adding another number to your agency. It's about making sure people know what they're getting into and making the best decision for themselves. I want to touch on the comments because I think this is Julie in the comments. I can't see the name unfortunately, but it says hello, Sabrina and Mary Grace. And then it said, let me see if I can put it on the screen. It says, I'm not crying, you're crying. So I think it is Julie.
it probably is, Julie. Yeah, and the thing is, she's at home sick today, but I invited her
Oh,
to watch this too. So
yes.
yeah.
Well, welcome, Julie. We feel the love. We just can't see your username, but that's okay. We know it's you. So Sabrina, I insurance for me, and I think for everyone else too, it could be confusing. And as a business owner, because this is something I actually just learned in the last year, is why is it important for us as business owners to have insurance? Because I think that's one of the things that people are like, oh, I won't need it. I don't need it until I have employees. Oh, I don't need it because I don't have a company vehicle. So share with everyone because everyone we're talking to today is an entrepreneur, is a business owner. And I just learned this in the last year. So
Well, a lot of people, especially since the pandemic, they're working from home. And
mhm.
so people don't think they're not required to carry that insurance
Yeah.
because they're not renting a space. And usually your landlord requires you to carry some sort of liability in case somebody slips and falls at your location, things like that. The landlord wants to protect themselves through you.
Mhm.
And that's totally normal. But now everybody's working from home. So a lot of people are like, well, I don't think that I need to have that. I don't have people coming to my house. But there's so much more involved in that. I mean, you can have professional liability, where you are actually protecting the service that you provide,
Mhm.
like an accountant and a doctor might have. Um, not they Doctors don't have professional liability; they have like malpractice.
Mhm.
Lawyers have malpractice, so there are a lot of risks that you have even when you're working from home. And most importantly, the work from home environment, you're subjected to those cyber attacks. And we all
Yes.
know that they're
Yeah.
very, very prevalent in the news today.
Mhm.
Everybody's been been hit at least once. All of those big companies, MGM, Caesars was even hit, but
Mm-hmm.
it was real down low. And these things are, you have to protect your customers. You have to
Yeah.
protect your customers' information and their credit card information, their address, their birthday, all of those things can, those hackers, and they're getting smarter and smarter as the insurance industry is also changing, and the protections that provided for you to protect you from those kinds of threats, those are evolving as well. But the hackers are always one step ahead, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that's really, really important, because so many businesses go out, they'll shut down after a breach, because most importantly, not only are you responsible if their identity is stolen and, money of theirs is stolen, but you're also responsible to provide them with a credit report twice a year for 7 years, because they have to be able to monitor whether or not they've been attacked, or
Oh, wow.
their identity is being stolen. And those can, for all of the bureaus, and those can get really expensive. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you have to provide one for every one of your customers whose information was stolen. So that really can put small businesses out, like, within 6 months of a breach. And so it's really important that we talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And even your personal home, your cell phone can also have these kinds of breaches too. They can steal your contact list from your cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so now homeowners insurance and renters insurance is also evolving to include or these options to add cyber
Oh,
coverage. And I
wow.
would suggest everybody check into that and either add it. And it's really inexpensive. Most of the time it'll be like a $30 a year premium.
Oh,
And yeah,
wow. That's
to protect
so
the person.
affordable.
It is. It really is. And I mean, it's not a whole lot of coverage, but you know, every little bit helps. And if
Yeah.
it can keep you from having to file bankruptcy because
Mm-hmm.
you had birthdays, phone numbers, addresses, things like that in your cell phone for all of your contacts, can really help you.
Wow. Yeah. $30 is nothing. And I think some kind of protection is better than nothing. Again, I
And
just learned that in the last year through Sabrina. We
mhm.
had some kind of insurance, but I was like, you know what? As we're online so much, I was like, you know what I was looking into, and maybe we could talk about this today, is I was looking at the insurance that protects you from defamation. Like when, we're always on social media, people are saying whatever, there's just so many trolls and different things that are going on. But also, you can't make everyone happy. And I think if we all knew how to follow the rules and be a professional, it wouldn't happen. But I mean, we're living in a perfect world. We're humans. So I was actually looking into that. So can we talk about that too? Do you have some information you can share with us in regards to that type of insurance? Because I
That's
believe anyone in social
that's
media should have some kind of
absolutely.
protection. Yeah.
It's called personal injury, and you can add it onto any homeowners or renters insurance policy, and it's very inexpensive as well.
Hmm.
Sometimes it might only be like $15 for the year, and
Wow.
it will help you if you are, you do have liability. So liability
Hmm.
is if somebody hurts themselves on your property, somebody hurts themselves while you're at your office, on a slip and fall, like because it's your fault. You spill on the ground and they slip and they fall. But that is usually just for bodily injuries, so injuries to your body, and property damage and damage that you might cause to someone else. But personal injury is like damaging your reputation, or damaging somebody else's reputation. So
Mm.
you're them personal, not their body, but their reputation. And so those things can be included in there. And there are some exclusions on that. So if you're an influencer, you
Hmm.
probably need to have that put onto a business policy, which is going to
Yeah.
give you much more broad coverage. It's going to cover you because you are doing it as a profession. I'm professionally posting things, so you do need to have a discussion for that. And everybody's situation may be different, and we like to just sit down and really get into what do you do, who are you, and how what are your risks? How can something happen that we need to cover?
Yeah.
So, but yes, absolutely, personal injury is something that everybody should be, put on there. And it's so inexpensive,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not going to be like if you're thinking, oh, I have renter's insurance, I should only be paying $15 a month, or your apartment complex may offer you a renter's insurance policy and just add that $10 onto your rent. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't really protect you. Usually it's very minimal coverage for your personal belongings. It's not going to have personal injury. It's not going to have liability coverage that might be 100,000 liability. When it's so inexpensive to get 300, 500. It's so inexpensive, and so those things are out there for you, but you really need to talk to a professional. And again, I'm always willing to look at what you have. I will give you recommendations and say what I think you should look into. And I mean, if I'm out of your price range, it's okay.
Yeah.
But these things
So
are
much
things
great
that you
nuggets
can
there.
discuss.
That's so much great information because no one talks about it. Everyone talks about the traditional insurance, life insurance, the things that we need in every day. But I think that every business owner who is on social media, and we're now using social media for visibility and marketing purposes, that I believe that we should all have that personal injury insurance attached to our business insurance.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
look out, connect with Sabrina because, like she just said, just be knowledgeable of what it is and what it is that you need for yourself and your business. And you can decide if she's the one for you or if you want to look elsewhere. But at least now you know what you need and what to look for.
Right. I agree. Absolutely. This is, all I can do is make suggestions, and
Hmm.
ultimately it's up to the customer to decide if they want to pursue that coverage or not. And the most important thing for me is that I can make it relatable so
Hmm.
that you understand the reasons behind why we need to cover these specific things, why we need to have personal injury, why we need to have cyber, why we need to have replacement costs on our belongings. I want
Hmm.
to make sure that people can make that educated decision of whether or not they want to take on the risk or they want to transfer the risk to an insurance company.
Yeah, there's so much great information. We have some comments, so hold on, let me add it to the screen. Okay, Sabrina, they tagged you. I need a PNC connection who does what you do for my clients since I do not function in that space. I do health, life, etc. We have talked 2 years ago but never followed up with each other. We can't see your
Oh,
name, so if you want to let us know who you are and definitely connect with Sabrina, I'm not going to speak for you, but I'm sure you're going to want to connect.
yes, yes.
Okay, drop your name in the comments so then we can see you. And anyone else, I see you guys watching. I can see you here on the comments and also our viewer account. If you leave a comment, put your name because for whatever reason it's not pulling your name in. And so here's another one. Such great information. It is great information. These are things that we need to know. And if we don't have a resource or someone to ask, then we kind of go on Google, and that's not always a smart decision to do.
Well,
Great
I'll be honest.
information.
There's a lot of times that I even need to Google stuff, just because like I said, I like to make insurance relatable.
Mhm.
So if I can't explain what something is in a way that, like, I have to be able to wrap my brain around it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is this. I have to have a scenario, and then I'm like, okay, that clicks.
Yes.
Now I can explain that to my customers too. And I'm not. I'll always tell you, what, I don't know the answer to that, but let me
Mhm.
find out, and I'll find it out. And that's what I love the most about my job, is that I always get to learn something new. And I'm of course helping people, but there's so much to learn, and
Mm.
sharing my knowledge is it's what I think it's what I'm here for. I'm here to share my knowledge.
You're the
So you can,
insurance geek. You're the one
yeah,
who's geeking out on insurance. Like you're the
I will
expert.
do it for you. You
Yes,
don't have, yeah.
exactly.
No more Google. Just call me. Shoot me a text. Shoot me an email. Send me a message. I
Yes.
will be your Google, and I'll give you an example of what that is, so that you can understand it and you can relate it to your own
Hmm.
life as well. Because that legal jargon in your policy jacket is confusing for me.
Yes. And you want to make sure that you're making the right decision. So for me, something recent came up about an event in California that's coming up. And they requested a $1 million blah, blah, blah. I don't even know the words. Blah, 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 blah for this event. And I'm like, Sabrina, I don't know what they're asking. I forwarded the email to her and I was like, what do I need for this? Because $1 million to, I think it was 1 million to 3 million required. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And what is this? What are we doing here? But she took care of it in literally less than 3 days. And it ended up being super affordable for me. I'm like, oh, can we just do the whole year? And actually, you suggested it. You were like, just do the whole year. And my husband was like, just do the whole year. I'm like, yeah, we'll just do insurance for the whole year.
I mean, it makes sense,
Yeah.
because then you never have to worry about it.
Hmm.
You're just like, oh yes, no, I do have that coverage.
Exactly.
Can you send me an email with your requirements, and then just forward it to me, because that's the best way for me to do it, is to know
Yes.
what they're asking, because they're asking you for something you don't know the words. You
Mm-mm.
don't understand what $1 million in liability means,
Hmm. Yeah. You
and
think I
so that's
should
why.
know, but
Yes,
I'm like,
you're
let me
moving.
let the professional handle that and let's make sure we're making the right decision here because we're talking about 7 figures. Let's make sure it's the
Right.
right decision. And what was great that I loved about you is I only asked particularly for that event, and you were like, I think you should just do the whole year. It's very affordable, and now it covers you for all events, no matter where you do it and what you do. Yeah, so I love
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, more comments. Great information. I had no idea about the type of insurance. Yeah, right? You you won't know until you ask. And I think for
It,
me, that came up for me and I was like, Sabrina, how about, if someone like goes online and starts like saying things about you that is not true and your reputation as a business owner is very important, especially if you own a company that's 30 years old or whatnot, or if it's part of how you do business, right? And so that's why it came up for me. And that's why, again, if you have questions, we're going to drop Sabrina's information in the description so you can make sure to connect with her, network with her, but also add her to your tribe and your network because you want Sabrina as a resource. Trust me. I feel good that I could just forward something to her and ask her.
I love that. I love that too. I mean, it, it it really just like warms my heart just to be able to be that kind of resource, especially for the
Mhm.
people that I feel so strongly connected with. And I mean, there's so many people don't know. You only know the insurance that you're required to have, your car
Mhm.
insurance and your homeowner's insurance when you purchase a home. There's so much more out there, and there's a homeowner's insurance policy is so broad. There's
Yeah.
so much coverage in it that you never know what you
Mhm.
need, or what might happen,
Yeah.
until it happens to you, and then sometimes that's too late.
Yes, and then you find out, oh, that's not covered, and you're like, what? I thought
Yeah.
I got, that insurance. So very important to just be educated. Okay, so more comments are coming in. That person who commented about a PNC connection is Gregory Drake.
Oh, Greg, I know Greg. We've known each other for a long time, since back in like 17, 18 maybe. Yeah, we met networking.
Awesome. So you two need to get reconnected, become a resource to each other. And also, anyone who's watching live, if you have questions about insurance, questions for Sabrina, feel free to drop them in the comments. So, my next question for you, Sabrina, is who do you like to work with? Like, who do you consider your niche?
I mean, my niche could really be anybody.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you what my goal for 2024 is. I really want to connect with families that where the parents are looking to protect their children's future insurability and maybe set up a savings account for them to access in the future. Maybe when they turn 16, they need a car, or for some college funds. And a great way to do that is with some juvenile life insurance. And there's so much more to a life insurance policy than just a death benefit. And we don't like to talk about that with our kids, but there is so much more. It protects their future insurability. You don't know what's going to happen. They could get sick and then they're not insurable anymore, but this can help protect them in the future. Or this, like I said, the savings account, and that can really be beneficial. My granddaughter, she has more life insurance than she may ever need, and it's really affordable. So I would really like to connect with families that are interested in that. This year I want to hit 100 families.
Oh, that is an incredible resource. Oh my God, that's awesome. I mean, my son's 21 and off on his own, but if I were to have more children, that would be something I'd be interested too, is because you're right. As parents, we don't like to look at that and think of even fathoming that even happening. But you're saying this is a different insurance that doesn't even connect to that. That doesn't have to happen.
It does, but there's additional coverages that your life insurance policies do have for you that are more than just if you pass. There's living benefits as well. And also, it's no better time than today to get life insurance, because you don't know, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and you don't know what may happen. People get cancer every day. People have heart attacks every day. And once that happens, then it's too late. You're no longer insurable. And so while you're healthy, a young and healthy best time. You can pay like $12 a month.
I know.
Insurance when you're young and healthy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, $12 a month is just like,
nothing.
If you think about it in the big picture, it's pennies to protect your future insurability. Once you have that life insurance policy, you have it forever. If it's a permanent life policy, which that's what I suggest for young parents, is a permanent life insurance policy, so they have it forever. Sometimes you only have to pay on them for 10 years, 15 years maybe. Then you don't pay any more, but you always have it. And it's always building cash value, because that money is just sitting there in the market, but not really in the market. You don't lose, you won't lose your nest egg. You won't lose your money. Most policies are like that. The policies I sell are like that.
Yeah.
And, you don't have the risk of losing. So it's a no-brainer to me. Just get $12. Come on, let's do it. Let's protect you and your family. And a lot of people think their most valuable asset is their home or their car, but really your most valuable asset is your ability to work and to have an income. And so, what you have 30 years until you retire. So when we think about how much insurance we need, you got 30 years till you retire. So you need to protect that 30 years of your income. In case, and that's the tough part about selling life insurance, is because you have to say, hey, listen, you're going to die one day.
Yeah, we all are. We're all going to die one day.
Guaranteed. The only insurance policy that you are ever guaranteed to use is a life insurance policy.
Yeah, I agree. And I just want to apologize ahead of time. I don't know if you hear like a weird sound. Lexi, I have a little Yorkie next to me and she's snoring. So I apologize. I muted myself while you were talking because I could hear her echoing through my speaker. I'm like, oh my gosh, the whole world could hear you snoring, Lexi. So I apologize for that. And I agree 100% in regards to life insurance, and I can only speak from experience, but I remember when I was in my early 20s and I worked a corporate job, and I remember them offering me life insurance, and it was literally like $3 a month, literally, because I was like super young. And even to add my husband and add my son, I think it was like a total of $20 a month, super young, healthy. And I remember doing it because my parents always instilled that into us. It's like that is something just in case. And also, it's not about you just dying. Like, it's not for you, it's for your family. Like, think of your husband, think of your son. What if both of you, knock on wood, happens? Then how is your son
Mhm.
going to pay for those things and take care of your assets and debts and all the things? So um I think, especially to later in life, my dad ended up getting sick, and he actually ended up passing. He had stage 4 cancer, and they were protected from top to bottom. And that is how, in the last couple of months, we were able to put him in hospice, be able to live a comfortable life in the last few months
Yes.
because of the protection my parents put in place. And then also take care of those expenses. My mom didn't have to work for literally, I think it was like up to 6 months, because things were taken care of, right? They were protected. So I'm not
Exactly.
speaking just out of my ass. I'm speaking from experience and what I've seen happen. And
Yeah.
what a beautiful thing that my mom was able to be home, for that long of a time, and be able to provide, that comfortable living for my father for the last few months of his life.
Yeah, and not only that, that's the living benefits of life
Mm-hmm.
insurance,
Yeah.
but something that really always stood out for me was when I made the connection that life insurance is not about you. It's
Mm-hmm.
for the people that you leave behind.
Yeah.
And how many times have we seen on social media people are starting up GoFundMe's just to lay their family members to rest? Now, and you didn't even mention any of those needs
Yeah.
for
Mm-hmm.
your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and
And that's
other than
expensive. That's pricey.
your bills,
That was pretty
yeah,
pricey. It was
laying them
like half of 6 figures, I would say. It was like, because I'm the one who planned everything. I think it was almost 60,000 for to live out what he wanted, right? And to
yeah,
have that many people at his funeral. It's not cheap.
yeah. It's not cheap. I mean,
Hmm.
just a cremation these days can be like $10,000 to $15,000,
Yes.
and that's a
Hmm.
cremation.
Yep.
That's not even burying you. That's
Nope.
not the casket. That's not the
Nope.
plot of land that you're purchasing. Your
Hmm.
headstone, things
Hmm.
like that. And how terrible is it when something like that does happen and there is no life insurance and you are passing around a hat to everybody just to pick up your loved one from the morgue.
Hmm.
Otherwise, they only keep them for 30 days and then they consider it unclaimed. And
Yeah.
can you imagine if your dad had to be, because
Hmm.
if you didn't have that and all of a sudden he's an unclaimed body, and
Oh,
I mean, just on top of the loss and the
yeah.
trauma that the loss of your loved one, but putting that financial burden as well. And so, it's so important to think about who you're putting this on, whose shoulders you're putting this on,
Yeah.
and making sure that they can take care of themselves after
Hmm.
you're gone.
Yeah. I
And the fact
agree.
that your mom was able to also grieve,
Yes. Yep.
and not have to worry about paying the mortgage or paying a
Exactly.
partner.
Exactly. And I believe that's what people don't think about, because, I mean, yes, you're going to be passing on and be wherever you are, but think of the people you're leaving. And I agree with you. Someone commented, GoFundMe is not life insurance. It's not.
No.
I can't imagine having to go through that stress of trying to rile up, money, pennies, and dollars to, even go through cremation, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, I believe it's worth it, whatever it is. I don't know, depending on your age, your health, and whatnot, whether it be $5 a month, all the way up to $100 a month. It's worth it. It's worth it in
It
the
is.
end.
It
Hmm.
is. It's just, and what a blessing it is that you're leaving for your family. This, just taking that stress off
Yeah.
of them,
Mhm.
taking that extra burden off of them when they need it the most.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. So connect with Sabrina. I know that we kind of like layered that on, but it's the truth. And I'm glad you brought it up because that is something I personally experience. And I don't share that. I don't just go on social media and start sharing that. And a lot of people don't, right? Until you have these conversations. And if we can just, allow for more people to be educated about it and make that decision for them and their family, I think that's all we can do, right? And that's why you're the insurance geek.
It is. It is. All we can do is share knowledge
Mhm.
and leave it up to you to make the decision of whether it fits your pocketbook. And if it doesn't, we can always work around. We can figure something out. Something a little bit is better than nothing. Even if you need that $1 million or $1.5 million to carry you through age 65 or whatever, but you can't afford it. That's a really expensive policy,
Yeah,
but a little bit helps now just so that you can be laid to rest. And I think that is one of the most important things, is just being able to lay your loved one to rest.
I agree. All right, let's take it into a I know some people are like, "Oh gosh," but it's reality, right? It's what we have to do to protect ourselves and also our family. But I'm going to shift it a little bit. Sabrina, as an entrepreneur, what are some things that, good or bad, whatever you want to share, what are some things that you have gone through for all the entrepreneurs who are listening? Because I believe that, you have a different situation from mine, right? You pretty much bought into a franchise. And so some people have thoughts of like, oh, that's different, and they go through different ups and downs. So I want to hear what is that for you? Because it's different from mine.
Oh, look, I'll tell you, the one thing that I didn't expect to be so scary is like being an employer. I have a
Mhm.
team. I have payroll. I have payroll taxes. I have to, my business has to be successful, not only to put food on my table, but to put food on my employees' table. And that's a really scary thing that most entrepreneurs do have to at some point experience that.
Mhm.
I'll tell you though that the insurance industry it's really unstable right now. Everybody knows rates are rising,
Mhm.
cost of repairs are rising, and I'm really passionate about explaining why. Why is this happening? I'm a
Mhm.
good driver. I've never had a ticket or an accident. I carry high liability limits. I own my home. I live in a good neighborhood. All of these things, and really it comes down to the insurance industry right now is being hit with all that inflation from 2022. So
Mhm.
cost of repairs. I mean, my husband just had a small accident, little dent in his rear quarter panel, and it cost a lot of money. It was a $7,500 claim. And I
Mhm.
was like, okay, let's just pay this out of pocket first. Go get an estimate. That's going to be, like 2,500 bucks.
Yeah.
No, it was 7,500. I was like, oh hell no, we're filing. I'm not paying that much. And you know, there's a lot of technology in our vehicles. There's a
Mhm.
lot. I mean, just a rear end, and that was part of it. So his bumper had to be replaced, and his the cameras, the
Yep.
rear view cameras, had to be calibrated, and so that created a lot more. A lot more that we had to pay for. So those things are it's just part of the insurance industry. Our cars are more expensive. I mean, you can't get a car for under $30,000 now,
Mhm.
and so the cost to fix those is more expensive, and the cost to fix your roof, wood has increased in value or in price like 300% since COVID.
Wow.
And so then there's like access to parts, access to
Mhm.
other materials, and it's really kicking insurance in the butt. And
Oh,
so that's been something that's been tough, but we just got to take it in stride. Shopping is at an all-time high right now because of it, and I would suggest that everybody shop their insurance with me. No. And
Yes.
just let us look at it. And because I have many friends with a lot of those big companies out there that came in and they just took over the market. There's nobody's been able to beat them for 15 years. And then all of a sudden they get like a 300% increase on their car insurance. And yeah, you know what? You're going to come to me, and you know what? I'm not going to be as cheap as you were last year,
Hmm.
but I'm definitely beating them now.
Yeah.
And it just like having those conversations. It's I suggest talk to a professional, have your stuff together. I don't know if y'all have seen my video. Have 5 tips and tricks to get the most out of your shopping experience. Have your deck page with you. Know what your current coverages are when you talk to a professional, so that you can compare apples to apples, and you're either getting a better coverage or the same coverage. Because when you talk to your agent, if you're getting quotes for lower coverage, just talk to your agent first so that
Hmm.
you can compare apples to apples. I don't ever suggest skimping on coverage, because you never know. I mean, you run into a car, it costs a lot. So
Yeah.
imagine if you ran into a Tesla, or especially
Mm.
here in Las Vegas, we have a lot of high value vehicles on the road. And so sometimes you don't have enough coverage there to repair their car. So really have that discussion and make yourself familiar with those things. And I can help you with becoming familiar with the things that are on your insurance policy and explaining why you need them.
Yes. And you turned my mind around about auto insurance too, is because, I always just protected my car and me and my liability, right? And then you're like, yeah, but how about if you hit a Lambo or you hit like you just said, a Tesla? Granted, I drive an expensive car too. And it's like, oh God, yeah, I gotta take care of my car and their car. It's like we don't
Yeah.
think of that. We only think of our car, but accidents happen, knock on wood, things happen. And I love that you explained. So, this is exactly who Sabrina is, Insurance Geek, how you explained why the cost is going up in insurance right now. You're absolutely right. Like, there's so much technology in our vehicles now, the cameras, the sensors. Some cars like drive for you, back up for you, park for you, all the different things. And if you get hit in the right place, it could cost all of that, to cost you a pretty penny, the sensors and all the things. And I love that you explained that, because I think that is something I hear all the time is like, oh my God, my car insurance went up. I don't even know why. I'm a great driver and I haven't moved or anything. I have the same freaking vehicle.
Yeah. And I feel it too. I just want to say I
Mhm.
feel it too. I have insurance on my house, on my car. I am paying these things too. And I felt it. I felt, especially now,
Yeah.
when this accident comes out, I don't even want to think about it. I'm just glad we don't have to deal with it till August. But I'm paying these things too. I
Hmm.
feel I feel
Yeah.
it in my pocketbook as well. And I had two claims at the same time. My house, I had my
Yeah.
service line. My
Hmm.
service line broke. And then my husband had the accident. And so in the month of November, we had two claims, and we had to pay two deductibles in December when we got our stuff fixed. And so, I'm glad that these things were covered, and I was able to just pay my
Yeah.
$500 deductible. I
Hmm.
mean, and now the car is back. My service line works. The water district's not sending texts to my husband every day that we're overusing. I'm glad that
Using
these
all of
things are.
Vegas's water, Sabrina. Oh gosh. Yeah, $500 is beats 7,500 or $10,000, right?
Yeah, day in and
Mm-mm.
day out. So
Yes.
it's been a lifesaver. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if my company wanted to cancel me, but I doubt they will.
No, no. We have some great
So,
comments. I think this is Celeste, my favorite person in the universe. Oh, I know that
No.
Celeste because I think Julie commented, "Hi, Celeste." Put it on the
Oh,
screen. And then another comment: always fill in the gaps in your policy and spend the money. Greg, yes.
yes, yes. You're going to be thankful for it.
Mhm.
I mean, I pay so much money for insurance, but I have insurance for literally everything. The only thing that I don't have, Gregory, is long-term care. So maybe we can connect about that.
Yes.
But I probably spend like $1,200 a month in different insurances. My animals have insurance. My
Yeah,
dogs.
that's what I was gonna mention. You can even get pet insurance through Sabrina. Like
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
ask all the questions because I'm like, oh, so how about my dogs?
Yeah, I mean, I do, but again, my dog had, I'm an insurance agent, so of course I have pet insurance. My dog had back surgery in
Mm,
2018, and my pet insurance covered it. It was I would have had to put my 2.5-year-old puppy down if I didn't have insurance for
yeah.
him because it was a $5,000 surgery. Plus, he had rehab afterwards. He had to relearn
Mm,
to walk, and he went to rehab, and that was expensive. And now he walks, he's fine and everything. But this poor little puppy,
mm,
we wouldn't have been able to let him be in pain and be paralyzed, and he had pain. So without it. So
yeah.
I have insurance for everything, and we can talk about everything. I don't do health
Mhm.
in any types of health, supplementals or your actual health insurance. I don't even want to get into that because it's crazy, and there's so many things that could go wrong, and it's kind of scary. But anybody that does sell health insurance, they really turn into a professional for you because they keep up on all of that stuff, with the Obamacare and
Mm,
all those things.
yeah.
Um, and you can Medicare. Oh my goodness, don't even get me started on that. So I don't want to deal with that. I have no knowledge of it, and I don't want to have any knowledge
Stay in
of
your
it.
lane. And then that's why, if anyone who handles health, please contact Sabrina because then you guys can both be resources for each other. I think that's another
Yeah, I
power
don't
player
have
there.
anybody in my
Mm,
network
yeah,
that does full health insurance policies
there
for
you
small
go.
businesses or for families. You
Okay.
know,
You heard it here. Okay, we have
that works.
another question. I have a question about big dogs like King Corsos or Rottweilers. Are they allowed to be covered in Vegas? From Greg. Oh, I think Julie commented, answered him. But you can answer so everyone can hear.
So this is the thing with dogs in the state of Nevada. In the state of Nevada, we are no longer allowed to ask the breed of dog. That so we can ask if you have a dog and if your dog has a bite history, and that's it. So if your dog has a bite history, no, we can't. Generally, you're going to be like, no, I can't provide that. If you've had a liability claim because your dog bit somebody, you're not going to be able to get insurance with that if you still have that dog. Now, I'm not one to say, you got to get rid of your dog. I would never ever tell
Mm,
somebody that because my dogs are my children too. I mean, they are a part of my
yeah.
family, but insurance companies do not view it that way. And whether it's a Chihuahua or a Cane Corso, if your dog has bitten somebody, you're gonna not be able to get insurance. But we can't
Wow.
ask. We can't ask breed anymore. And it's only Nevada, as far as I know. I am licensed in Utah as well,
Mm-hmm.
and there are aggressive dogs. Not really, not so much their size, but they're aggressive dogs. And they're your regular ones, your pit bulls, your Rottweilers, Dobermans. King Corso is considered kind of like a pit bull family in the pit bull family, so
Mm-hmm.
they're going to be excluded too. But Great Danes and large Mastiffs not on the list for the most part.
Wow.
Huskies, German Shepherds. So those are in almost all of your other states. I'm pretty familiar with California and Arizona as well. I used to write with them at my previous job, and they also had the same dog lists. And each insurance company has a different dog breed list. There are some out there that only have pit bull and pit bull mixes. There are some out there that are much more extensive, and you'll find some that have random things. You're like, what's a Pressicanario?
What is that?
I,
It sounds like a small dog.
no, it's not. It's like the King Corso and
Oh wow, that's a big dog.
yeah. So they are big, but I honestly, Chihuahuas bite more people
Yes,
than
that's what I was about to
every
say.
single day. Every single day, but they're so small that they
Yeah.
don't cause the damage that the large
Hmm.
breed dogs do. And I'm a firm believer that it is not the dog breed, and we can't discriminate against the dog breed. It is the dog owner. The dog owners are the ones that are the problem. Large breed dogs, you have to be able to control them. You have to
Hmm.
train them. You have to socialize them. You have to make sure that you protect the children in your neighborhood.
Hmm.
I mean, my dogs have gotten out several times because my latch in my gate wouldn't close all the way. So my poop people would, they'd be yanking on it, and sometimes it wouldn't lock. And my neighbors are calling me, "Hey, I have your dogs," And so, by no actual fault of my own, my
Hmm.
dogs got out. Had they been in, I mean, they're little, but had they been in a fight or something, I
Hmm.
would be devastated if my dogs bit a child or something.
Yeah, I agree, and I like that you said it's the owner responsibility. It's never really the dog or the animal, right? It's
Yeah,
us. We have some great comments. Greg, we will talk, Sabrina, LOL, because I do all of that you don't. So the health insurance and all of that. We have a
yeah.
question. And so after
Okay.
this question, I would love for Sabrina to drop all of her contact information because I know we're going on about an hour of interview, but she dropped so many nuggets and so many great questions. So I'm not going to complain about that. Question is, if my dog is 11, is it too late or super expensive to get pet insurance? He's a husky.
So you just like people, the older that the dogs are, they are more expensive. And it just really depends on if you want full like coverage for them where it covers like allergies and sickness and illness, or if you just want to get like an accident, like if they chew a bone and swallow it or
Mm,
something accidental happens. And it can be more expensive the older the dog is, but it's not too late. We can always talk about it. We can always get quotes. My dogs are now 8, 6, and 2. So
mm.
my 8-year-old dog, he's the one that had the back problem, and he's about $63 a month.
Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not bad.
and he's got full coverage. He got his shot. He gets his shots every year, and he's got sickness and illness and accident. So, and that's about 8 years old.
Yeah. And that beats a
And
$5,000
which was,
surgery.
yeah, $5,000 surgery, and it saved his life.
Yeah.
Health, pet insurance saved my dog's life.
Wow. So many great questions. But I do want to share, please follow Sabrina on Instagram and on Facebook under the Insurance Geek Envy because, yes, she is the Insurance Geek and she drops all of the information on her social media too. But also get connected with her. You need to add her to your network. As you can see, she's a wealth of information and she's very open to becoming a resource to you and looking for collaborators as well, people in the health insurance industry, or anything that she doesn't offer. I think this is a great opportunity to connect with her. So, Sabrina, how else can they get connected with you aside from the social media that I just dropped?
You can always call my office, email me, text me. You choose. I'm here local. I am in the Northwest area, Lake Mead, and 95 is my office, but
Mm-hmm.
I service everywhere in the whole city. We can always meet for lunch, coffee, drinks, whatever, and just talk about how I can help you as well. I want to help my community. I want to be a part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
I want to help new homeowners, like navigate through what they do now that they bought their house, things like that. I'm always open to help everybody. I offer my brain to everyone. So I don't know. You can reach me in my office. We can put that. I get texts at that office phone number as well. And email is always good too. But you can reach out to me on my social medias, and we can try and connect. I'm happy. I'm happy to do it.
Yes, she is. She's always there. Like I said, I vouch for her. She's my personal insurance person, with all my questions, but also handling everything that we do for our personal and business. I'll make sure we drop the phone number and also her website and then all of her social media. But I see Sabrina, I see your name. Julie is actually dropping all that information in the comments. So if you are on Facebook, she's dropping that in the comments. If you are on YouTube or anywhere else, I'll make sure we'll put it into the description. But thank you again, Sabrina, for coming on, sharing all your golden nuggets. You shared so much information today. Thank you.
And thanks, Julie. Like I
yes,
said,
thank you, Julie.
She's my right hand. Mm-hmm. Nothing happens without her. She is just as much of a wealth of knowledge, and if she doesn't have the answer, she will ask me. And if I don't have the answer, we'll figure it out.
Yes.
And so I couldn't do any of this without her.
Yes. And she hashtag Team Reed.
Makes it possible for me to be in this meeting right now. She makes it possible for me to have lunch with you and to have coffee with you. So, she's a great assistant for me.
Yes. Thank you, Julie. And Julie is on her Instagram as well. Hashtag Team Reed. You'll be able to meet all the other team members as well. And anytime Sabrina does like booths, Julie is sometimes there too. So you'll be able to meet not only Sabrina, but Julie most of the time. Yeah. 90% of the time.
We're a team. Nothing happens without both of us. And so that's one takeaway that I want everybody to know is that nothing happens without both of us.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you, Sabrina. And thank you for everyone for tuning in. I know you loved it as much as I did because you stayed the entire hour. You asked all the amazing questions. But as I said, we'll drop all of our information in the description. Get connected with Sabrina and also tune in every week on a Monday at 12 o'clock because we are interviewing all of our members. We're allowing for you to, create that connection online, ask the questions that you want, and then get connected with them offline. So again, thank you for tuning in with us. And if you are a member and you haven't been featured, contact our office. You have our information. Contact us in the app, and we'll make sure that we get you on a Biz Connect Member Spotlight. All right. Thank you again, Sabrina. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
Yes.